All right, awesome. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, everyone, for joining. We're really excited to have you here. We appreciate you making the time to do this. I think this is going to be a really cool step to have before the summit. We've never done this before where we put a lot of intention before we had the one-day summit, and there hasn't really been a ton afterwards either. So we're excited to talk about both of those components. But I'm going to share my screen because I prepared a little slide deck for us. So this should work. Can everybody see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
All right, awesome. And I'm going to, oops. All right. So just a quick overview. We just did the
I'll get mine real quick.
No.
Sorry, you guys good? Okay, so we just did the intro, but wanted to talk a little bit more about the partnership. We'll do that really quickly since Mark did a little bit of an intro on that. I'll give you a little bit of an overview on 220. I know several of you know about us, so we'll keep that brief also. And then we'll get into more of the main content when we're talking about the summit, look at the overview and schedule for that. And then we'll also show you what the curriculum looks like. That is the follow-up piece to that summit to continue that learning through the rest of the school year. And there's actually some other cool programs we're going to show you that are on this same platform that you can use beyond. So into the summer and even into the next school year. And then we'll show you our recommended schedule, which can be tweaked, but we'll talk about that more to get through the whole curriculum by the end of the school year. And then we'll leave time for questions to make sure that everyone feels really good leaving here about what the expectations are, what everything's going to look like, and how to use the curriculum moving forward. So Mark talked a little bit about this, but our partnership with Missouri is something we're really excited about. They are one of the first after-school networks to be doing this type of partnership with us. It's really exciting in terms of the scope. We're starting with 20 after-school sites in total that are going to be participating in a version of the summit and curriculum afterwards. And then the goal is to hopefully expand that beyond in the state of Missouri, even beyond those 20 sites, which is awesome. So the main partnership, or the first phase of the partnership, is the structure that we're talking about today, which is the summit as the kickoff event, and then the curriculum that everyone can take back to their sites and have their students participate in, and even have students that didn't necessarily have the opportunity to come to the summit will still get to participate in the program when they go back. Anything else, Mark, you wanted to add on that?
No, I think that's awesome. I really believe that, yeah, the opportunity to have a full scope now, not just a summit, but really be able to build out from that is very key. And so we're real excited about what that's going to look like for the program to take advantage of it.
Awesome. All right. So most of you know about us, I think. So again, we'll keep this brief. But Josie, you want to give us a quick overview?
Sure. So for those who haven't met us, or for those watching the recording, we are the co-founders of 220, which stands for Second to None. It's kind of our acronym and a theme that's relevant in all of our programs and our mission. And really what we do as an organization is help students reach their second to none potential. So our story, I'll give you the quicker version, is we were frustrated when we were in high school and college that most of the opportunities that were important to us and we knew at that point were going to allow us to be successful were not being taught through formal education. And so when we were in college, we were really frustrated by that and decided to design camps and start to work with students to teach the skills that we thought were most important for them to start developing to not only reach their ultimate goals, but to start to do that sooner than after college or having to wait for certain certificates or all those things that the traditional status quo would tell you. So we've been running 220 full time as our own company for the last 5 years, have worked with over 3,000 students at this point, over 50 organizations. And one of the reasons we're so passionate, you see the National After School Association on there. One of the reasons we're so passionate about after school is so many, and everyone knows this that's on this webinar, so many of the important life lessons that are taught through after school aren't the same as formal education. And we just love the fact that after school is doing this in such an intentional way, and allowing students to be creative and pursue their passions and really figure out what it is that they want to do with their life. And that's really the whole purpose of what we do at 220. We work tirelessly to partner with organizations, to help students, to help staff, and to really get the content out there that's going to help them reach their full potential as an organization and help their students also reach that full potential.
So getting into the summit, this is just a quick overview of what the schedule looks like. So I know some of you have probably seen this before, especially since you registered, but wanted to highlight what the day will look like. So it sounds like everyone on this webinar is for coming to the one at Mizzou in Columbia, but we also are going to have another one on March 4th. That says Monday, March 4th. That should say Wednesday, March 4th, at Southeast Missouri State in Cape Girardeau. And both days are going to look pretty similar, starting at 9 a.m. And you can see the agenda there, where we're going to have 2 longer sessions that are going to be focused on our content. It's going to be a really high energy day where students get to go through the foundation of our curriculum, which is helping them think about a 10-year vision for themselves, but not a 10-year vision that they naturally come by. We really challenge them to think what we call in an unrealistic way about what their future could be based on who they are, what their passions are, and what they get excited about. And then we help them start to think about how to reverse engineer so they can start doing that as soon as possible. And that's where the curriculum that we'll talk about will pick up and help them actually walk all the way back and figure out what they need to be doing on a daily basis to start working towards those unrealistic goals that most people would think are impossible, or would stop at daydreaming about them, and because they wouldn't know what to do next, we show them how to actually start incorporating that into their daily life. And so we'll also have lunch and a campus tour, which will be awesome. It was a huge hit when we had it at Mizzou last year. And we're really excited for students to get to be a part of that. When we're talking about, or when we're challenging students to think about their long-term future, and then we get to show them a possible avenue when we're on a college campus. And not only are we in a room in a college campus, but they also get to walk around, see students there. They get to experience what it feels like. And for some of them, that's huge to just know that this is a possibility. It's not necessarily my path, or it's not necessarily for everyone, but just to see it and to get familiar with it is a huge, huge step. So that's the general schedule. And that is basically how the summits are going to go before we get into the curriculum. So any questions on that? All right, we'll keep moving. So next I wanted to do a curriculum demo. So we actually just upgraded the way that we deliver our curriculum, and we're really excited about it. So previously, the way that it was delivered was via email. And so they were emails that you would get every week. You would get the lesson plan, and it would have links to everything you would need, slides, worksheets, and all that. But we actually just upgraded our platform to this new online learning where everything is housed in one place for you, and you get instant access to everything. So you don't have to wait week by week to get the curriculum. So we're really excited about this new platform. So when you get access, and we'll do this right after the summit, everyone will get access to the curriculum. But what you'll see is your library, where you have access to not just the course that we're focused on this webinar, but also 2 other courses that we'll talk about later as we get later into the semester that you can use with your students. One is on workforce. So we get into things like how to create an advanced resume, build interview skills, and do it in a way that's really intentional about your dream job, not just for any job, but for that 220 second to none dream job. And then we have an entrepreneurship curriculum also that makes entrepreneurship accessible to every single student, because entrepreneurship as a way of thinking and as a way of problem solving is becoming a necessary skill in the 21st century, no matter if you're an entrepreneur or not. And so this curriculum tries to show students that entrepreneurship looks a lot of different ways, and it can be something accessible that you can incorporate into your life, into your career, even into your school. But you don't have to be an entrepreneur to do that. So we're really excited about all of them. What we'll do is we'll dive into the Create Your 220 Life curriculum, since that's the one that's based for the summit and for what everyone is going to be using for the rest of the semester. So you click in there, and what you'll see is all 18 modules laid out. So all 18 modules, everything you need for each lesson plan is housed inside of that course. And so each page looks like this. So you'll see the title, you'll have your key materials up here. So everything you need to run the session or run this lesson plan. So you click on it, it's a link, it takes you to the PDF that you can download. And this is an example of the lesson plan. So you have your overview, which gives you a little bit of background information on what this lesson plan is about and how it fits into the curriculum. You have your key objectives, so what we're trying to accomplish during this lesson plan. You have the materials that you need, which are also housed back here, but they're also available in the lesson plan if you need that. An outline to what we call go short, which means if you have 30 minutes or less, which you're more in a tighter time frame, then you can get through a core version of this lesson plan in 30 minutes or less. And we have an outline on each lesson plan on how to do that. And then we also have go long over here. So these are options where if you do have more than 30 minutes, you can incorporate one, multiple, or all of these different activities or suggestions for activities that will take it up to 2 hours and beyond if you want. And a lot of those are extended discussions or more independent projects or more experiential learning. So those are, again, all included in the lesson plan. And then also recommended resources if you as the instructor want to go deeper, or even if you want to show some of your students some of these materials that are a little bit more advanced or go deeper into the concept, and allows you or the students to get deeper learning on that. And then inside of the lesson plan, we almost always have a worksheet for students. So this is how they apply it. And that time to do that is either built into the lesson plan or you do that afterwards. So this is an example of our modern bucket list that students would get to fill out to apply what they learn in this lesson plan. And so coming back to this page, you also have a direct link to the worksheet if it makes that makes it easier to print. And then again, here's another material that you need for this lesson plan. So there's the Jelly Beans video. We always include a quote. We have an image, and then there's the same overview language that's in the PDF, but we want to orient you as much as we can to make it easy, all in one place. You can read about it, access any links you need, recommended resources down here, all your key links up here. And then we also have discussions down here that since the platform is new, there's not a lot going on there, but as we get more and more users on there, we're excited that that's going to be a really powerful tool for people to collaborate, talk about things that went really well, maybe places where they got stuck in the lesson plans, or even just have the opportunity to share really cool stories about what students are learning or what they're saying or what is getting them really excited. So that's going deep into one, but that's what all of these look like. So as you click through, you'll see the same anatomy, and sometimes there'll be a few more links and materials for you to use, but the basic structure is the same. And so again, once we give you access, you'll get an email confirming that you have a Kajabi account. And once you click that link, it'll prompt you to create your account with your password. And then again, you will have access to this program and also to these other two programs. But that Create Your 220 Life, this first one, is the one that is incorporated into the summit and what is going to be completed by the end of the semester. So I know that was a lot, but any questions on the curriculum itself.
Amy, I knew you had some had some questions, or I know you were looking forward to getting that curriculum. Do you have any comments about what you're seeing at this point as far as the ability to plug and play, make it useful for your context there at Lakeway?
No, we'll have access to this curriculum after the summit. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. And I guess, how many lessons are in there? 18?
18.
Okay. And that's just what I need to get through this semester, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Because I'll be doing it 2 days a week. And that'll get me through 9 if I do, yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
That's yes. So
9 weeks.
Yes. So that's a perfect segue actually, because unless there's other questions that people have specifically on the curriculum, we can go into the
Oh, okay. Let's see it.
recommended schedule.
You see that recommended schedule right there?
Yes. So this just outlines basically 2 lesson plans per week following the summit. So that's an easy way to basically get you to May 4th. And just for some context, lessons 13 through 16 are all student-led sessions / working time. So what that means is it actually gives students the opportunity to bring a piece of media or something that really inspires them. So it's one student depending on, or multiple depending on how much time you have allotted for these, but it gives them the opportunity to bring in a piece of media and that's related to the content that they've experienced in the course, and actually do a mini lesson, like 5 to 10, 15 minutes, where they either show a video or talk about some experience they've had, and they teach the class something, and the class gets the chance to experience that with them and ask questions. So it's a really cool leadership opportunity. But then the rest of the time is dedicated to them actually completing a project that's detailed in more in lessons 11, 12, and 13. So if you needed, and we can talk about that on this call if people have questions on that. But I just wanted to make people aware that lessons 1 through 12 are more content heavy. So it's more structured, but then lessons 13 through 16 are all those working time / student-led sessions. So, if you need to make some adjustments based on your schedule, those provide a lot of flexibility. And then 17 is presentations, and lesson 18 is about taking an assessment and celebrating all of the awesome progress that students have made over the course of the program.
And I would add that I know some of you may be on our PLC, our CAPS professional learning community, so we'll that's more of encompassing of all the things we're doing that we're offering resource-wise to CAPSA. But for those who are participating in this and you want to have some interaction, I am glad to create some marking points throughout this 9-week period for you guys to talk. So I'm going to offer that. I'll set up some Zoom sessions, and then if it's a spot where maybe Matthew or Joseph can pop in and just listen for a little bit or just be available, we'll talk about it. That's not in this right now. I just kind of was a serendipitous thing that I hit that kind of thought about when I was looking at the schedule and also looking at the opportunity for us to have some connecting points as leaders to talk about how this is going and what some lessons you guys might be learning from this, and maybe some both successes and maybe a few hiccups.
Awesome.
Is that something, let me just ask, is that something you guys, you can shake your head, yay or nay, if that's something you'd be interested in? Okay, cool. Awesome. All right.
All right. And then that brings us to...
Hold on, pause. Hold please.
Okay, go ahead, Steph.
I have a question.
Yep.
Is there any possible way that we could get access to the curriculum before the summit? Because it would give me time to get any materials that my staff needs. Plus the staff that I have doing this are also day school teachers. So Ms. Nichols teaches during the day, so it would give her time to be able to kind of read through it and brief herself, so it's not so last minute. I just think that it would, if we had access, or if we were able to have access, that we would be better prepared to give like the best lessons possible to our students.
Sure. I mean, it works for us. Mark, does that work for you?
Perfect. As long as you guys, and you know, I don't think there shouldn't be any reason why you guys couldn't have access prior. So as long as, and I was going to say the same thing, as long as Matthew and Joseph are good with it, I'm good with it. I think we just want to win here.
Okay, great. So what we can do is once people formally register, and I know several people on the call have registered, then we can create an account for those people and give them access based on the email they register with, and that will serve as the as the registration point and give you access to the curriculum. If for some reason you aren't the person that you want to have access to the curriculum, then if for example, there's an instructor that's going to be the one actually using it, then let me know and I can make sure that that person is the one that actually gets the email and the account access.
May I ask a question?
Yes, you may.
Okay, so I have some kids that came to the Leadership Summit. Is a lot of this going to be exactly the same as last year, or is it going to be a little bit different?
Yeah, great question. So the summit is going to be the same. The
Okay.
summit content is going to be the same, but the curriculum would still be a great experience for those students, especially as a refresh.
Yeah.
It really helps them go from what we talk about in the summit to much deeper and helps them work all the way backwards, like we said, to what's my 10-year vision. We talk about what they should be doing on a daily basis. So yeah, I think it'd be a really good opportunity for those students to go through the curriculum.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Plus, Katie, I would say then the other part of the experience of being at the summit, even though the summit itself may be is going to be the same, there'll be different students from other schools there too. So that's a pretty cool opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just the chance to meet some kids from other schools from around the state. Hey,
they're always excited about that.
And Stephanie asked the question. I know that for my district, I registered us, but Miss Nichols is going to be leading it. Amy, who's on here. I don't know if you guys are able to give us both access or if you'd prefer just one. Either way is fine. So Matthew, is it okay if they have more than one person have access, or would you guys prefer to have one access email for that?
Yeah, so we are happy to provide multiple accounts for the same site. What we don't want to do is anybody who may be slightly interested or may want to use it, because the goal, especially for this first stage of this implementation, is to really measure the results and make sure that we have a process that we can replicate at other states at other sites across the state. So if you have, another person that you want to have access, or even two, that's totally fine. But I would prefer that those be people that are going to have some stake or going to use it just at this point. So we control access to make sure that, we know who we need to talk to and get feedback from. But yeah, again, for any of those other sites that are on right now or listening, we're happy to do that. Again, just want to make sure that the people that get access are actually going to be using the curriculum, and we're not just giving access to give access, so that we have, more accounts out there that we need.
Yeah, and that's a great point. Like, for instance, Josh would have another person in Forsyth that he would probably want to give access to, because he's not going to be at Forsyth every day or during that time. So it's easy for him to give his point person who's delivering this particular aspect that access. So that's a great question, Stephanie, and I'm glad that we can make that happen. But I'm also with Matthew. We really want this to be intentional. Our goal is that this is strategic and intentional. And I'm just thinking about the first time I met these guys. Was that 2 summers ago, or was it 2 summers ago we met at Mace? Was that your first, or was that 3 summers ago? I'm trying to remember how many summers ago we met at Mace.
I think 2.
2, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but still, I think about how things have really developed, and you guys have just rolled this and really, begun to put this in this kind of format is really cool to see how quickly that is. It may not seem quick to you guys because there's this labor of love, but it seems that way when you think back about how quickly things have kind of transpired and developed.
Appreciate you saying that, Mark. Yeah, we're excited about it, especially for partnerships like this, where we have, you know, awesome people at the state level really invested in making change, and our platform hopefully, you know, evolving to be something that people are excited to log on to and use. We know it's good content. It's been working with people, the programs that we've been using it with, but we always want to make it easier to use, more exciting, a little bit sleeker, a little bit cooler, a little bit better. So we're excited because we think this new platform really represents the curriculum and where we're at. So the last item that we had was just the registration. So just make sure if you're on the phone or if you are going to watch the recording, make sure that you go to this URL and register. That is how we're keeping track of people coming. Again, it's free as part of the Missouri After School Network is providing this to you for free, which is amazing. But you do have to register. So just make sure to go to the site and you'll fill out your information so we can know who to expect and how many are coming. And then again, that way we can know who we need to register for curriculum access.
And free is always good.
Free is great.
As a matter of fact, it is excellent.
Free is excellent. Yes, yes. So that was it. Does anyone have any other questions that we can answer?
Yeah, I probably should have said that on the outset, and probably we'll do that when I send out an email for those who register, and we'll get a chance to take a look at this. We carved out an hour and a half, knowing that it may not take that long. I probably should have said on the front side, hey, we carved out an hour and a half, but we know that this really is, once we present what's going to happen, how long this goes will be up to you guys in terms of your questions and the Q&A time. But we definitely want to make sure that we answer any questions. And also, if you have any questions after this, feel free to throw them my way. I'll send them on to Matthew and Joseph. But this is an iron sharpens iron kind of project where we are going to continue to learn and grow and develop together. But really excited as we do this and we make some real strides with after school in the high school spaces, that this is a key resource for us. So anyway, yeah, that's a big part of this. So anybody have any questions, or you have any want to just go ahead and open up your microphones and feel free to do that. Katie. Amy, you got anything?
No, answered almost everything. I mean, I understand a lot better now what we're doing,
Cool.
and I'll be glad.
Then we accomplished our goal.
Yeah. And I'm glad you're giving us access to the curriculum a little bit earlier, because like Steph said, I'm a day teacher also. And I look forward to, is it all right if I, can I use some of this in my classes?
Mark, that's
hey, you're a grantee. You can do whatever you want to with that as long as it helps kids succeed. So it's all good by me.
I just thought maybe some of this resume stuff we're getting.
Absolutely.
I teach personal finance, so
absolutely
we're getting ready to talk about that. And I thought, maybe it'll be able to be a good resource for me.
Absolutely. And that's the other goal too, Amy. Let me just say this, because part of it's one of the beauties of having daytime teachers. I think we may have lost her, but one of the beauties of having daytime teachers is that one of the key aspects of 21st Century Grants is to bridge to the daytime, to the daytime staff, and to enhance the academic opportunities for students. So if you can use this, and that to me gives double the opportunity for impact. If you have some of the same students who are in your after school program that you have in your school, in your classroom during the daytime, all that does is gives us a chance to double the impact. So feel free by all means to do that. Oh.
Hey Matthew, do you want to talk about, if they do get access before the summit, which lessons might be good to touch on or think about, just since I think it's important to note that the summit, our hope for the summit is to really create a jumping off point for the students to be excited, for the students to go back to their peers to say, hey, this is something that is really cool, to really start to develop those leadership skills. So we're going to be touching at a high level, because we only have so much time at the summit, on certain lesson plans within that leadership curriculum that Matthew walked us through. So maybe just, I'm thinking time and a couple of the other ones out of the gate, Matthew, that we can probably send it an email or just mention on the call.
That they should go through beforehand, you mean, as instructors?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, honestly, if you want to familiarize yourself with the whole thing, you can, but don't feel like you have to. I would say that the ones that will be most relevant to what's going to happen at the summit would be, and we can send this out in a recap email, but it would be lessons 1, 2, 3, and even 4. I mean, it's really those first 4 to 5 that we're going to touch on high level, but that will still be worth going through fully with your students using the curriculum. There may be a few repetitive things, but I'm sure, as you all know, working with students, repetition usually isn't a bad thing. So it'll help them learn it more and get it more ingrained, and share that experience with other students that weren't necessarily at the summit. So I think that, yeah, that's a good point, Joe, that lessons 1 through 5, you don't have time to look through all 18, would really help you feel good about what's coming. But don't spoil any surprise for the students, especially on the nail exercise. If you we want that to be a shock and awe moment. But, yeah.
Hey, I've done that exercise before, and I still have a hard time figuring it out the next time around. See, that shows you how good I am.
Yep.
That is really cool, though. Oh, goodness. Hey, I am one other thing too, and I want to make this note. I love the entrepreneurship addition to this program. That's also a new initiative that we're having here at the network. Some of you are going to look at taking advantage of, is with our entrepreneurship education initiative. The entrepreneurial mindset is a success mindset. It's a life skills, life success mindset, and the ability for us, even, so those are things that they will utilize and help them as they move forward in their future. So I am grateful for that. And we're going to hopefully have a couple of the students from the new entrepreneurship, what they're calling, they're not calling a center, but we just met with, they're looking at developing this nexus. I don't know what else to call it, but it's really going to be a center in the student center in the union that is all dedicated toward entrepreneurship. And so we may have a couple of Mizzou students come and speak to right before lunch and just talk about what they're doing in that set. So we'll see, but we're still working on that. But that's just another aspect of what we're going to be offering in our resources to high school students, but also to middle school students. And actually, entrepreneurship is going to be K-12. So we're pretty excited about that.
Love that.
All right. Any other questions? Any other comments? We'll get you guys out of here early. Well, hey, the other thing I would ask is if you know of some other programs that are doing high school, they haven't committed yet. We still have a few spots open at both locations. We feel like we're going to fill them, but the quicker they register, the better. And that lets us know that we're going to rock and roll with a full crew. So if you know some other folks that are doing programs in high school, encourage them to get on and register. Send them the link that you've already gotten. Let me know who they are. I'll send it out to them. Hey, looky there. Josh has a little there. And so look at that. That's the best right there.
Yeah.
We'll take that wave. So yeah, just encourage them and we'll get the information out to them ASAP. Okay.
So Mark, I've got a question.
Okay, go ahead, Josh.
Should I go ahead and register can I register multiple times? Because we've got lists out at all 3 locations.
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of waiting to fill our list? Should I
Nope.
go
Go
ahead
ahead.
and
Go ahead
register
and
the ones I
register.
have?
Yep. Register those who are committed, and absolutely, I think that'll be okay, isn't it, Matthew? Because what I would do, Josh, is if you have a pretty good set group from one or two sites, but you're not sure about the other, go ahead and register the sites that you feel pretty good about. And if we need to add some names to that, we'll let Matthew and Joseph know that. But at least get on the list so we have those so that you already secure your registration in the location that you want to go.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You bet. Oh, and Matthew put up the registration link in the chat box, so it's there if you need it. And looks like our buddy Brad just finally weathered the great traffic snarling of Columbia, Missouri. That's interesting that Brad texted me, said, I am struggling with traffic, and I was as well. I had to find my way across campus to get here in time to get on the call myself. So, but we're here. And Brad showed up just in time for us to say goodbye, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Katie has a question. If I don't have time to go through all the lessons, is there one essential question that I should ask my leadership students?
So I'm glad you asked that question. So just to be clear, we would recommend not going through any of the lesson plans with your students beforehand. Okay. You don't need to do that. That was more of if you want to familiarize yourself as an instructor with the curriculum, those would be the lessons to go through. So one through 5 is like where you could focus and just familiarize yourself with the content in there. But I would personally recommend that you let the summit serve as the kickoff to all of this content.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
Yeah, and the way that's ending, even though a lot of schools, many schools have met their snow days, most of them are going to go at least past that early May period. They're not getting out that early. So we should be able to, even with seniors, I think if you've got some seniors that are going to dive in with you in this last part of the semester, you should be able to get it done before we finish school and everything. That was one of the things we talked about, is try to have it finished up early enough in May that you could get all those lessons in. All right. Any other questions? Comments? Brad, you got anything you want to add?
I think I'm good.
Okay. It's a good meeting, man. Especially if you get done a little early. I will say this: those of you who are coming to Jeff City next week for our Show Me After School Day at the Capitol, we are stoked. We have a ton of people that have committed to be here. I was in a meeting the other day, and I thought we'd been doing these meetings at the Capitol for a while. I didn't realize it's really our second, formal day of raising awareness and promoting after school at the state Capitol. We've had some key meetings in the first part of the school year, first part of this year. We just got done with a meeting yesterday at the Capitol. Some cool things are happening on the policy front for after school in our state. We just want to try to capitalize on that. If you're coming, it's going to be a great time. We're excited about you coming and being a part of it. If you haven't registered for that yet, make sure you hop on the link that was sent out through the pipeline last week. But if you need that, let me know. I'll send that to you as well, okay? So right now, I think we have 13 or 14 that have registered, but we know of a bunch of others that are coming. Several are bringing students. That's another key. If you can get some students to come with you, that would be awesome. So that's a win-win all the way around. All right, anything else?
Can I ask you a question about the thing at Jeff City, the After School for All?
Mm-hmm.
Is there any particular apparel we're supposed to be wearing? We were thinking about getting matching t-shirts.
That's totally fine. And we said that in our prep day. So in terms of whether you come in either a either business casual, or if you have a particular shirt that's like your program shirt or something that's matching that identifies you, that's totally cool as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
Sorry about that. That was my husband stealing snacks.
That's okay. That's all right. And it's kind of nice to cross-reference all the things that are going on. So we got a little policy in there as well as our CAPSA initiative. But again, a lot of cool things happening. All right. One last time, anybody else have anything you want to add? Cool. Well, we will see you guys in Columbia on March the 2nd. In the meantime, if you have any questions about anything, just let us know. And we'll keep you up to date as to how things are happening with that. But we're excited about it. Amy, glad you're joining us. Stephanie, glad that Lakeway's back on track. And Josh, with what's happening in Branson and Forsyth and Reed Spring, and Katie at Hollister. And we know a whole lot more is going to be coming on board with us as well. Matthew and Joseph, we are grateful for you guys and real excited about this partnership and what's going to happen over the next year plus. And so thanks guys. So out of here.
Yes, thank you guys. And thank you, Mark.
You